Guns and Media by Jordan Nichols. I'm going to try to keep my biases to myself as best as I can and go off of observation. So, every time there's a mass shooting involving children, schools, and public safe places in America, a debate ensues over guns. There are generally two sides to the argument, which includes those who advocate pro-gun control and those who advocate pro-gun rights. The debate takes place over mediums such as television, social media, and radio, as well as many other forms of media. Whenever there's mass shootings such as the tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary, news anchors and politicians get in heated debates over gun control issue, which actually tend to scare a lot of Americans. There are a few common reactions from citizens when these debates get rolling. Firstly, people get scared of guns. They see a news segment, they get scared of guns. Some people get rid of their guns, oftentimes their parents' or grandparents' guns, hoping it will allow them or their families to be safer, and good on them. Secondly, gun control advocates take to social media to attack or lecture gun owners, and I tell you that's mostly the case. And then gun owners fight back. Debates over social media can consist of more than 50,000 comments of hate and abuse on one Facebook or Twitter post alone. 50,000. Huge. Many people also chime in with well-formed and thought-provoking arguments as well. Good for them. It oftentimes begins with a large amount of people who post status updates or memes which express their opinions on the gun control issue. Their friends will either support or criticize their beliefs, which can ignite a social conversation, which is great. But in many cases, it separates the country deeply. It doesn't take long for social media to have a serious impact on how people feel towards each other. Finally, the third group is divided into two subgroups. The first subgroup consists of people who have never owned a gun and purchase one feeling the need to protect him or herself. Maybe those Fox News watchers. The second subgroup comprises of people who have owned guns and purchases more guns fearing a gun ban. They get scared about the things that they might see on CNN, for instance. In fact, AP Regional State Report found that Oregon alone saw 32,000 background checks were performed from December 14, 2012 to January 3, 2013, which more than doubled the number the year before. 32,000 gun sales in less than a month. And that is because people are listening to these debates happening. The gun ban discussion getting talked about, getting brought up. 32,000. It's absolutely staggering. But this was following the Sandy Hook and Town Center shooting. So gun outfitters openly admit that sales absolutely boom after these tragic events, as well as ammo sales, simply because people get freaked out of what they hear on television or read online. Okay, so I've got two memes here for you. The left is a gun rights, the right is a gun control. The left, obviously, you're stupid, gun control law people, but the right is take my guns away over your cold dead children. That's referring to Sandy Hook, obviously, and it's malicious, and then you're going to see posts like this underneath Facebook, just freaking shoot the open carry people. They are obviously unbalanced and dangerous. It would be self-defense. That's what I think. A couple of well-placed shots into that crowd, and they disperse like the roaches they are. A bunch of Call of Duty wannabes anyway. Them fighting words, and you're going to see gun rights people come right back with more malicious stuff, and these things get out of hand. 50,000 comments later, it's just absolutely, it's nuts what it does, really. But there's one important thing to note. While these social media debates can be brutal, and usually are, there is a common underlying goal on both sides of the argument. It is in our nature as animals to survive, and survival means safety. There's one thing that we all believe in, or most of us believe in, and that is that every man, woman, and child has the right to life. you can't really blame people for taking strong stances on this issue because it directly relates to their safety and well-being. I, for one, am a gun owner. I've been following this issue for a number of years on media. I know the reason I carry a gun is because I'm naturally a fighter, not a flyer. It just happens to be my natural instinct to defend myself when faced with danger. But I fully understand that not everyone feels capable of defending him or herself. I tend not to only want to protect myself, but others as well. So running will not always be an option for me. These natural personality traits of mine play a major part of my views on the gun rights, and I would take that into a debate like this. Debates like these, which I try to stay out of, but sometimes, I indulge my guilty pleasure. Oh well. I want to bring attention to British citizen and former CNN news anchor Piers Morgan because something crazy happened to him directly related to these views on gun control. Piers Morgan is a superb example of a news anchor that managed to get a lot of blood boiling during his 6-month attack on modern sporting rifles in 2013. He brought on a slew of pro-gun rights guests to debate the issue of new gun control laws. He also brought on a number of well-known actors, musicians, and media icons to reinforce his beliefs to debate. But his ratings skyrocketed as gun control advocates and gun rights advocates tuned in, hoping for or fearing a gun ban. Check him out on YouTube. In one of his classic 45-minute debates with guest Jesse Ventura, who for the most part I don't condone. Really, I don't condone. The real issue surrounding gun control was actually discussed. Ventura argued that hunting and sporting are not the real reasons for why people are protected, while guns are protected in the United States, but instead for people to have a way to protect themselves if a tyrannical government were ever to come into power. That's why Americans have the right to own the same kind of weaponry the United States military and police force use. If you think about it, the militia would be very ineffective at protecting the country using pitchforks. While the enemy is fully equipped with the world's most technologically advanced weaponry. But could a tyrannical government rise in the next couple of years? It's unlikely. How about the next 150 to 200 years? It's possible, and even more likely if citizens of America are poorly armed. Wow, I remember when this was happening, there was a lot of talk about Texas seceding from the Union. I mean, this scared people. Comments like that scare people. It makes them do crazy things. Okay. Obviously, his pure stance on gun control spurred a lot of frustration amongst gun owners. And in December 2012, an online petition was created to have Morgan deported from the country. According to ABC, the White House responded to the petition, which received nearly 107,000 signatures. They said that they would not deport Morgan, the White House, because his attack on the Second Amendment was protected by the First Amendment, which is a fair response. But this proves that gun owners feel very passionate about their gun rights, and they used media to demonstrate it. Jim Carrey, the famous movie star, also has been outspoken with his views on gun control. He took to Twitter to say some of these things shortly after the Colorado massacre and Sandy Hook. I'll point out the bottom one, you can read the other ones, but my love to the victims in Colorado. The kid was sick, but you who can still support automatic weapon sales are the real maniacs in this country. That comment is directed to somebody like me. It's hurtful. It puts me in that same, he throws me, lumps me in that same category with James Holmes, killer at Colorado massacre, injured 70 people, killed a bunch. It's just, those are hurtful things to say. But he did it anyway. Following Sandy Hook, he performed in a skit called Cold Dead Hand that directly made fun of country people and gun owners. He made comments suggesting that gun owners are not as well endowed, and they would also probably die horrific deaths for keeping guns. In the grand scheme of things, the skit was actually quite funny. Time will tell if his comments backlash at him. He does, and I really did laugh at it a lot. He does have a large platform and some sway in public opinion, and should use it as he chooses. He also understood the risk of losing a large portion of his fans, and he will certainly gain new ones for his views. So to recap and to conclude, isolated shootings spurred mass discussion on gun control. Mass discussion. People use media to make their views on the subject known. Facebook memes, Facebook tweets, Instagram. And you can really tell where somebody stands, usually just on their social media profile when these debates get going, where they stand on the argument, that is. The debate causes an extremely mixed reaction from citizens. 32,000 gun sales or background checks, so mostly gun sales, in less than a month following one of these shootings. That's a huge number, and that's just in one state. It's just people do crazy things around these times and when these discussions get going. Media icons play an important role in these debates, as they often create specific argument points, which is important. People can take a hold of those, and they often do, and they debate them. However bad the hate gets, both sides are fighting for the same answer, even though the solutions vary. So you have to have some empathy on where people are coming from, and you don't know where their experiences are coming from, or where they come from on an experiential level, that is. And it takes empathy. You have to understand that we're both fighting for the same goal. So we all want to be safer. I for one am very thankful for media's role on hot topics such as gun control. We can take the messages media sends, analyze them, and then formulate our own opinions on the subject at hand. There might be a lot of hate over subjects such as gun control, but that can also be nullified with sound popular reason, and media serves as a tool for that reason to gain traction, implement itself, and solve serious problems that our country desperately needs to work through. That's all I'm going to say. But I will leave you with a plug. So thanks, and here's more Works Cited.